Welcome, everyone. I have Songbird again with me. I'm Zephy Davy, and this is my channel. And we're so excited to be on. And I just want to thank everybody because I got great reviews that you guys like us together, and we do have fun, correct, Songbird?
Yeah.
We definitely have fun when we do these videos. And today is our new moon video. And we kind of want to go into this. It's not just for the energy of the week, but we want to talk a little bit more to continuation of the previous video that we did. They had to do a little bit of the year because it seems like this past full moon and this new moon is kind of giving us the theme for the year. Don't you think? Don't you feel that?
Yes,
Feel that?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And as we were talking last time about how this is the shift from the tiger water to the rabbit water now. And
Which
so we're still in water.
tomorrow, yeah, we're still
Yeah,
in water, but
tomorrow we're still in the water. But something that I was thinking about, because we were talking a little bit before the video about the clearing of, the retrograde energies in Western astrology. And I thought that's so appropriate for the new year because it feels like all those troubles of 2022, those last hurdles we've had to encounter from the last time we talked, the last 2 weeks. And now it's like, oh, yeah, we can really enter a new beginning because all those hurdles are behind us.
and Chinese New Year is the next couple days, is on the 21st, and 21st, and it's the rabbit year, as you said. And I think that is letting go and going finally into our new year. And the theme that I feel for really, it's for the year, but I think it's the strong energy right now is like I said, is dare to be different. It's so important for us not to be different, like, wacky or something like that, but to be different, find out who you really are, discover who you really are and be that, like, honor yourself, have integrity, understanding yourself 100% and dare it. And then just say, you know what? I just want to be this way. This is me. I want to, go out and dance, or I want to go out and sing, whatever you feel that is going to get you to find your true inner self with integrity and love and, excitement. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and as you're talking, I'm thinking about like when you dare to become your true self, it's going to look so much different than what you used to be.
Yeah.
Because I think like with spirituality, especially, I feel like this year there's going to be a massive transformation in people who, instead of looking to the internet or to something outside of themselves with their spirituality, they're going to more inward. It's going to be more inward than ever. It's going to be like people looking to the tools and the things that help them to go inward.
And it feels it's like a great awakening, like it's coming. It's like it's not just that slow process that we had. A few people wake up here and a few people wake up there. And, a lot of us woke up in the 80s or the harmonic conversions or this or that in the past. But now I feel this year is going to be a great awakening. And
Yeah.
everybody's been talking about it, but I think it's this year.
Yeah, and what I see is a massive explosion in spirituality, people leaving religion and going into spirituality. And those first few steps into spirituality are, those first doorways like meditation, learning the different tools, tarot, all that stuff. There's going to be this like massive awakening of ancient wisdom and ancient rituals.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. And people
So,
looking towards the inside for it.
yeah. And I think people need to really look inside instead of like constantly looking outside of themselves. I think that's, and it's also, as we said earlier, it's a 7 year, but what do you think about this new energy for the week? What do you feel that this week can bring us and we can focus on?
Yeah, this week I feel like it's really important to follow your intuition and to listen and look for the subtle signs that are telling you the directions that you need to go into. Because I feel like once all this energy passes and we're fully into this new year, we're going to see new beginnings occurring, because it's like the return of spring. That's what really the Lunar New Year is. It's beginnings and the return of spring. And so, like in China, they have a whole month celebration honoring the return of spring, because it's that's what it is. It's the awakening.
Yeah, it's awakening. Yeah.
We're awakening. So like for the whole month of February to March, it's awakening. We're just like
Yeah,
waking.
going from the sleepy winter to really, the sun coming back up and being bright and happy and reawaken. Yeah. So, but I think you're right. It's going to be an explosion of reawaken. I think it's explosion of people really, and I think people are very hungry for spirituality. It's not they're hungry about religion anymore, and nothing wrong with religion, but they're very hungry of like discovering who they are and doing the rituals and doing, like the water ceremony. I just got so many calls and said, "What? We love that ceremony." Just a simple thing of looking at our water, giving love to it, putting it next to our bed, clearing our energy. They just love that because it's so important. It gives us something to do. It makes us to be part of our spiritual growth. Is not just someone telling us, "Oh yeah, now you're awake." You like pat you in the back and then you wake up now.
Wake up.
You become part of it. And I think, as you know, I'm getting ready to go to Egypt. And I think, rituals are so important when we get to the temples and we do all that work. And it's really, really important, I think, to become part of that great awaken, instead of you saying, "Oh yeah, they just told me to wake up and I woke up now." It's like getting out of bed. No, getting out of bed and maybe even have a gratitude every morning, like say thank you for what I got. Like make your life as ritualistic as you can.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to that daring to be different, because instead of looking at what other people have, or your life is not as good, or this bad stuff happened, or we've talked about in previous videos, the bad karma and this, that, and the other. It's like accepting who you are, where you came from, what your ancestors have, where you are.
Yeah, at this moment, right now.
At this moment. And I think a lot of that is the deprogramming too, right? When you wake up, it's a lot of like shedding of all that stuff, because TV, family, all these outside influences, most people are living for those.
Yes.
I want to have this new car, I want to do this, I want to do it, but they don't actually know what inside of them they want. Because I've worked with plenty of people who've gotten to that point where they have everything, they could buy anything they want, they could do any, and they're miserable.
Yes.
Because when you get to that level, all you want is to be happy.
Yeah, and those things, the outside stuff don't make you happy. The new car, the house, the clothes, nothing makes you happy. It's yourself. It's your soul.
It's what you are inside and what you bring to the world, and your gifts and your uniqueness and how you touch other people, because none of that goes with you when you die. It all stays here.
And looking at your soul truly, really looking at your soul and really to say, this is what my soul wants. You want to hike, or you want to connect to the nature, or you want to do your rituals, or you want to, be with one friend instead of 20. You know what I mean? Whatever
Right.
you want at that moment makes you feel good. That is dare to be different,
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people will probably have to sober up and clean up and change their lives. And what I have been also realizing working with clients this past week is that a lot of people, especially of the older generation, they still haven't come out of, from the lockdowns and stuff, because of all the fear. And it's time to, with the rabbit year, it's time to confront our fear, because in a rabbit, when they get afraid, they just stand still like that.
Yeah.
Like, and like trouble's coming and they're like, oh,
Oh,
I don't know what to do. And that's how like we can get like that too. And I think this next year it's going to be taking those small steps, if you haven't already, to be reintegrated, to learn how to work in this new world that we're in, because everything has changed.
I agree. And it's
A lot
not
of things.
not going to be the same.
No, and it's kind of the death. I think in this next couple weeks, it's like the best thing we can do is integrate our old self with our new self, because there have been so many changes that have happened in these last 3 years.
And
And
also,
this,
there's death occurring in a sense that the old self is dying. Everything is old that doesn't serve us anymore. And we see that even in people, there's just massive deaths are happening. And it's the ones that really not ready to go forward, or they're done. They're just like, okay, I'm done with this and I just want to go. It's happening all around us. And it's
yeah.
just amazing how this whole thing is taking place.
I know my first teacher over 25 years ago told me about this time that was going to happen where a lot of people would die
Yeah.
as part of the ascension process. And, back then we couldn't imagine that, but it's happening, and we're seeing it in all generations. It's
Yeah.
from the young to the old. And it's part of the Tonopoali teachings too also say this is a time of death, of plagues, of the earth purging. And also one of the medicine women I study with, she said, it's a time where if you're suffering and you're really like ready to go, it's that portal is open.
Yeah. But then people are afraid to do it because of fear of dying, the older generation, actually. And it's sad to see them struggle, and it's sad to see them suffering in their lives. How can they hold on with, with a strong will, not will, but teeth and nails, but then time will come. So yeah, I think we should also start accepting death, because it's going to be part of our lives this year in a
It's
very
part of like a decision you make.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can choose to suffer and die, or if you have that will, like what you were saying, you can find the treatments and things to make you better.
But what if you have the will, but you don't want about all this other stuff? Also, that people are caught in that, how you say, dichotomy. It's like
Mhm.
they have the will, but they don't want to go. So what do you do there?
You're stuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're stuck. And what I find with people who are stuck, they're just stuck in the old.
Yes.
There is opportunity all around us. And maybe it's a stuckness of money, but really it's never about the money. It's a stuckness of, I don't want to try something new. I'm afraid of something new. I don't know what that is. And so they'll go into the old paradigms. But the thing about it that we've discovered is that all of our institutions are breaking down.
Yes.
They're not offering us what we need. And so we have to, like the rabbit, be creative and go out and find the other alternatives that will give us what we need.
And it's interesting how the institutions left and right are breaking down. It's just not what we used to have anymore, from health to anything, to money, to banks, to schools, even schools having hard time, teachers, what they teach our kids is a really, and the experts of health. Hello, let's don't go there.
Every institution is breaking down, and for everything from medicine shortages to food shortages. Like over here, we have an egg shortage. There's all these odd things happening because everything's breaking down to show us where our holes are and where we have to step into our sovereignty. So it also forces us to be more responsible in our lives. We can't rely on other people for those things anymore.
I heard that you guys in America now, in some places, you cannot get eggs if you only get 2 packs or something.
They're completely sold out over here.
Wow.
You can't. I seen like a couple weeks ago, I saw a sign that said 1 carton per person, and now they're gone. And it's all about greed.
Yeah.
All of this that's happening in our food supply, and it's also forcing us to think about where is our food coming from? Where is it really coming from? what is really going on? And I think a lot of people aren't even knowing that a lot of farmers are now committing suicide because of all the pressure that is on them, because of the growing financial costs of running a farm and the corporate structures that are coming in. And there's a lot of things going on that are going to reveal themselves in this next year, and people have to really think about how to grow their own food.
Yeah, if they allow you, if they let you, because that's also, you got to find a way to do it. But you're
Yeah.
right. It's just a lot of things are going to happen, and we should expect the unexpected instead of like expecting what we know. We should expect the unexpected, and I think with this new moon, that's exactly what we're going to be seeing,
Well,
and
it's a dark moon too.
I'm sorry.
The new moon is the dark moon.
Yeah,
So it's in the darkness, right? And so everything will then flood into the light. But another thing that I was thinking about this week is that, our shadow is where our power is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually what spiritual protection is. You know how everybody talks about, oh, I need the evil eye, I need this, I need that, but it's really in your shadow. And a lot of this like new age spirituality talks about only good vibes or only positive or only one. So you're only one-sided. You're like lopsided, right? You're like this. You're gonna fall over when the other wind comes, right?
But you have to understand your shadow.
Yeah. That's where your power is, because a lot of times you have that righteous anger that comes up through your shadow. And if you're like, oh no, only positive vibes, you're diminishing your power and you're stuffing it all in. And then it becomes like cancer in your body, or it becomes some kind of something that eats at you every day, because now you're at odds with yourself.
Yeah,
you're not accepting who you truly are and those feelings that are within you, and you're not clearing, and you're not using those in the right ways.
So yeah, I think all this stuff is going to start showing itself, and we have to just hold on and get ready, and really get ready every day of our lives of, like doing our rituals and doing our practice and doing a little bit of meditation, and it will get us where we want to be, because I have a feeling the more grounded we are in who we are, the much better things will get, but grounded into dare to be different, dare to be yourself,
Yeah, and know yourself, right?
Yeah.
Know thyself. I feel like this is a potent year for people to really know themselves, the things they want, because I think everything in this society right now is pushing us to not do that. Like, because of everything going up, people are having 2, 3, 4 jobs now. And so when you have 2, 3, 4 jobs, when do you have time to really go within?
You don't
have any time. And that's what the whole matrix system is. It wants to keep you focused on outside instead of inside. But when you go inside, when you really look at yourself, you may think, well, I don't really want that big house, or I don't really want that car, or I don't really want to slave my labor and not have any time and be exhausted and not see my kids and whatever for a lifestyle that is not even mine.
Yeah. So it's gathering the stuff, like gathering. What do I know? Say I feel like it's gathering. That's what I'm getting as a word. But it's gathering all those things that we do for the outside. Gather it and just bring it in and build it and make it yours, and just really, really say, you know what, 4 hours a day, that's all I need to work for, and the rest of it will be other things or whatever. But start finding time for you and to go inside and gather your energy for that.
Yeah. And when you were saying that, as you were doing that, I was reminded of like, superheroes in like those movies, how, ever see them like really go into a job?
No, they never work.
And they're super like, wealthy or whatever, but they're always like gathering their power.
Yeah. To get ready to move or do something as a superhero. You're right.
Yeah. They're always gathering their power. They're always like in the bat cave, or they're somewhere where they're, and then they start as ordinary people, like Superman, right? He's just an ordinary man, and then somebody calls for help and he turns into this like grandiose person, character. And so it's almost like that. Within us, we have this superpower, but because we're programmed and conditioned to put it out there, give all, and you have a job, you're always giving it to somebody else.
Yep.
But imagine if we turned it inside.
Yeah, it would be powerful. That is part of this new moon energy, you know, gather
Yeah,
your energy and dare to be different and dare to be yourself. Yeah, I like it.
a superpower.
And your superpower, dare to be different with your
Dare to,
superpower.
because yeah, I was reading about the DNA research and stuff, and how they're finding certain genes
Uh-huh.
that are like the God gene, and if they're activated, what happens. And so imagine if we activated those dormant genes within ourselves,
Wow.
and that potential. I think that potential is coming, and people
I-
are recognizing it. And that's what the Great Awakening is people are realizing they have more than the five senses.
And you're right. And, and being God or goddess in a sense, because we're males, females, it's very important to understand that, because I always believed in that. I've been believing that God self, you are part of God, and you got to really gather that energy and believe it, instead of just saying, oh, I'm just a simple human being. No, we're beyond that. We're strong and we're powerful. We
Yeah,
can move mountains if we wanted to. But because think about it, when you put your mind into something, it happens, correct?
yeah, it
When you
does.
leave it, it doesn't happen.
No, and then if you have doubt or uncertainty, or you don't trust it, or all that clouds it, because a ritual and everything is not powerful if you don't have the mind with it. You don't
Exactly.
have the focus, the discipline, and the mindset like this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I hope it happens, it's already tainted.
So do you have like a ritual that we can share for this new moon?
Yeah, there's two things I would recommend doing for this new moon. And the first one is to integrate, like we were talking about earlier, is to think about what all the changes you've been through in the last 2 years, especially the last year, and the changes ahead that you're still working towards.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a ritual, but it requires some supplies.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna need a
Say it slow so they can write it.
you're gonna need a red cloth, like a small, like a quilting size cloth, like that. I
Mhm.
don't know the dimensions, but just like like a prayer cloth. I don't know if people have ever done prayer cloths, but like that size, a square red, if you have an old red shirt or something. And then if you have them, they have like those Chinese good luck coins.
Yes.
If you don't have those, then use a penny.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then you put the penny, you think about what you want to grow this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want your wealth to grow, if you want your love to grow, if you want your health to grow, think about everything you want to grow. And then you can add an herb like tobacco or mugwort or rose or something that kind of associates with that. And hold it in your hand and pray with it. And you're gonna make like a bundle, like a prayer bundle.
Like we do
Like
the prayers, that we do
yeah,
the
and then
bundle prayer.
you're gonna tie it with like, if you can, a red string, but if
Mhm.
you don't have a red string, another string. And then you're gonna go plant it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's a New Year ritual, so that everybody can grow what
so
it
you
is they
plant it in
desire.
the pot or you plant it on the earth? I think pot.
Wherever you can. Yeah, if you have a pot, if you're like an apartment, if you have a pot, grow it in a pot. And then you could even put seeds or something over it, so that you don't just have dirt. you know? But if you have a yard, dig it there. If you have a favorite tree, dig it near there. This is a way that you are consciously now planting something.
Yeah, planting something new for your life. I like that ritual between, and then also the water it, because you have to use the water to plant. That's a great ritual, you
Yeah, and
know?
then you water it, and then you put all your prayers and intentions and energies into it, and then you cover it so nobody can disturb it. And then and write about it. I always tell people to write it down.
I
People
agree.
forget to write it down. Like, write it down, because in a year from now you'll look at it, and then you can see what grew from that. So say you have an intention, like, this year I want to grow my business, and these are the things I need help with, or you talk to it, you nurture it, just like you nurture your life. See, that's the thing about rituals, is it's not about the ritual, so to say. It's about the fact that you're taking the time and energy out to focus.
I agree. And you focus and you nurture it like you would nurture a plant or and then even if nothing grows, your life will grow. Even if it doesn't grow in the pot, your life will grow.
Right. Yeah, it's all about inner growth,
Yeah.
because that's the dark new moon, is it goes into the darkness to be then flourishing in the light. And we have about a whole month before real spring comes. So
Yeah.
we're still in winter.
February. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still in winter. I mean, some places don't have a winter, but we have a winter here. You have a winter. But when you're in the winter time, it's about looking at that shadow, looking at that darkness, owning your power, owning your originality, and then going into the darkness of the womb, the mother womb, and growing it. Right? That's like sweat lodge. That's the whole point of it, is you're going into the darkness of the
Yeah.
mother. And it's the same thing with your little bundle. It'll go down there in the darkness, and you're not going to see it.
Well, you can put something there if you want something to grow with it. You can get some seeds and see if it grows.
Yeah, you can. Or if you already have a potted plant, like say you have an aloe plant or something, you could do that too. But I think it's really good when you do something fresh,
Yeah, I agree. Fresh.
because
Yeah.
it's going to be a fresh new beginning. It's going to be a year of complete transformation, as you own your power and your gifts and what you're here to do, and not focusing on all the challenges and the misdirections that will happen, because there will be a lot of chaos energy too.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about that. Absolutely. There's a lot of chaos is happening. And it's already happening. You can see it.
Yeah, and it's going to be more, and there's going to always be the gloom and doom. And then there's going to be it's just going to magically come together, right? There's those two extreme opposites, but it's really in the middle, like Buddha and all the great masters have said, where you're going to find your peace.
It's the center. Yes.
It's the middle way. It's when it's not too this way and not too that way, you're going to walk in the power of who you are. And I think that this year, as long as you don't freeze, like in fear, and you just keep moving with it. And the rabbit has hops. It hops, and so when we can just keep hopping along, it's going to be a year of incredible power.
No, I agree. It's going to be an interesting year this year, but let's start with just this new moon and then so everybody can settle and within themselves and really that's a beautiful ritual that you just mentioned, because I remember we used to do it before sweat lodges. We would do it like at our brayer bundles, and we put brayers and then let them be on the on the wind. But that's beautiful, and I still have a lot of the little red, yellow. I have all the cloths.
Yeah, you can take those and put them on trees. Like, those are good, or you can burn them for faster results. But this particular one is taking kind of the east and the west together, because if you have a Chinese coin, you put them in the coin. And in the Chinese ritual, they don't put like herbs and stuff, they just put the coin.
The coin, yeah.
Yeah. But I added the herbs and stuff because I do the prayer bundles.
Yeah.
So, you could do a little concoction of herbs or whatever, and then do that and have a whole ritual. And you could light a candle and, really see something. And, if you're a seer, if you're practicing to open your clairvoyance as you're staring at it, you can start visualizing,
Yeah.
to see what you see through that plant.
and see what you want to create. Like if you want to create a new business, just see the new business growing in there, and do that every other day, and just have it maybe near in your bathroom or something, that you get up in the morning and after you plant it and just say, oh, and talk to the plant, to the pod, and you know and if
Mhm.
nothing's going to grow, but I mean in the pod, but your life will grow.
Yeah, and another thing, as you were talking about that, I don't know if you've ever done the money bowl ritual,
Yes.
but like you could do it the same way. You could add things to the potted plant on top.
Crystals and stuff.
Crystals and stones or coins or whatever, herbs.
Yeah, just make it, create it the way you want to create it, but start with a bundle first. I agree.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, and then
beautiful.
all year round you could add to it. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, that can be fun. Like you can say, oh, this business went okay, like this part of it, something showed up, or and then just put a crystal to represent that growth, or put a money to represent that, or a little bit of, yeah, and light a candle with it. That's a great ceremony. Yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, like every time you get a customer, put a penny on it or something,
Yeah,
and something so that you can. I think that's important too because we need to see something physical. Like part of the problem with the spiritual is that it's unseen. And why
exactly.
we have tools and herbs and crystals and all this stuff is because the psychology of it. We need to see something. If we keep passing by this empty pot, it's depressing.
Yeah, nothing's happening to it. You're like, what's
Where's my business?
You're right. Just every time something is happening, because that's the way we manifest. It's not about really believing the manifestation comes through. It's about having action with the manifestation. So you're right. Add like a crystal, add like a little penny when something good happens. Just like you don't have to put so much, how do you say, um, a soil in it either. Just, maybe this much of soil, plant it, and then just build on top of it. Make it beautiful on top of it.
Yeah, and you'll find things that, oh, I want to put that on there. And and then it kind of adds like more enthusiasm and excitement to what you're growing.
You're right. Because that's how you create, correct? Through being happy and excited about what's happening.
Yeah, and then the people who are actually doing this, like, let us know and send us a picture so we can make a collage.
Yeah, and let us know how it's happening for you and what are you feeling. That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
that would be really good. But like update us through the year and be like, oh, this is my money bundle, and because I think that another part we were talking about earlier is that this is a year for community.
Yes,
We have to come together with like minds and like hearts. And there's a lot of people, like you said, are joining the awakening, and they're going to be looking for places and spaces where they can grow.
and feel comfortable and feel themselves because they're dared to be themselves, that.
Yeah, they're daring to be themselves in a world full of followers.
Yes.
They're daring to be a leader of their life. And you have to join with the right people in order to really grow. It's like if you put your pot somewhere where it's going to be like neglected and nobody's going to look at it, you're not going to water it, you're not going to do anything, it's going to die.
Yeah,
But if you put it in the sunlight, and I don't know if you ever noticed this, but when you plant plants and then you plant them next to each other, how they thrive better
they do.
and they get happy. Like sometimes my plants will feel lonely. I'll be, oh, I gotta move it over here. And then all of a sudden it starts getting all happy. It's the same like us. We need the right people and frequencies and energies around us so that we can grow.
I agree. And community is going to be a very big thing to find the community this year. Yeah.
Yeah, the right ones.
So start with your new bundle. Start
Yeah.
this, create your own spiritual, like continue the water ceremony from last time that we talked about, but go ahead and do your new red little bundle and make prayers with it. And that's a really old traditional Native American tradition. Sorry, sometimes I'm dyslexic. so but it's very, very powerful. You're right. That's a good idea to do the bundle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The bundle, what the intention behind the bundle is that prayer is action.
Yeah.
That's like the native way. It's not prayer is, oh, you know, Hail Mary, you know, like only when we want something or need something, but it reminds us that prayer is an action and a gift,
Exactly.
because ultimately we give it back to source. And that's why you put it in the tree, or you put it in the earth, or what, you're putting it back to the earth. So, and then those elements take it. Because I think that's the biggest thing about when you're manifesting or you're doing rituals, is you think you're going to hold it.
No,
You have to let it go. You know, because if you hold it, it's not going to happen. You have to let
exactly.
it go.
Gotta let it go and
Let it go. And trust that it's going to come back in the ways it needs to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we can actually do that maybe when the time comes in one of our talks, we can talk about the fire, like how we can do the fire bundles, because that's also those also are very powerful. I love those. For me,
Yeah, the fire buttons. Yeah, I mean, all the elements have their own specialty.
Yep.
Right. So there's a reason you work with fire versus water. There's a reason you work with earth versus air, you know, and knowing those basics is life-changing.
It is.
Just knowing those basics. And then you can go into the other stuff. But in order to do really good rituals, you have to know the basics.
Yep.
Of why am I doing this? So last week we gave you the opportunity to connect to water. And then this week they're going to connect to the earth, the soil.
The soil. And please let us know how your bundle is going and how your water ritual went, because I got a few calls and they said they loved it. They loved doing that ritual. It really helped them. Yeah. So let us know, you know, keep how you say, text us underneath, and hopefully share our videos, because we love talking to you about these rituals and the new energies and everything that's happening in the world. Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just going to get more and more interesting.
And we're going to have a lot more stuff to tell you.
I know, and it's interesting because it's like from America to Greece, and it's all the same.
It's the same. The whole world is going through exactly the same thing, you know? Because now, like, for example, you're talking about the energy crisis and everything that's happening, like in Egypt, everything has gone up 40%.
Wow.
Since September, 40% in our new group that I'm taking. It's amazing how just, you know, what is happening and why they're holding things back, and, you know, with the electricity and heating and everything that's happening. Because Europe, they're going a lot through energy right now. Thank God in America so far you guys don't have it, but you're having food shortages. But you know.
Yeah. You know, and just before we close, like one of the prophecies in the Tonopoali is that the next thing that happens during this time is blackouts. Like the first thing that happens is plagues, or like the pandemic that was prophesized, and then the next thing that happens is the food crisis and all that stuff, and then and then electrical shortage, blackouts, and we're not really exactly sure what the extent of that will be. Some people say it will be some kind of blackout of the sun. And some people say it will be, I feel like it will be more of an electrical blackout. Like you're talking about energy crisis, shortages, rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
And also internet blackouts.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that for this year too. Specific this year.
Yeah. And that's been predicted, you know,
long time ago.
Thousands of years ago. But it's because think about what happens when you're in a blackout. You don't got any distractions.
There's nothing going on. You can't even see. You know, you
can't see. You're in the sweat lodge. You're in the darkness. You can't do anything. And
your eyes have to get used to the darkness. So, and then they get used to it. It's very powerful that happens. Correct? You're in the sweat lodge. You're in the darkness, and you open your eyes, and you still, like, it takes you a minute, but you get to see what is happening. Yeah.
And you'll see the things that you don't usually see.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see spirits, you'll see things. So it's when the blackout starts happening, it's not to go into fear, but it's to go inside.
And to know what's happening, what to see what's happening with the other, the third eye.
Yeah. And it also brings us into humility and gratitude
Sure.
when we do have our electricity.
Yeah.
Imagine everything going black.
Yeah. That's going to be a very interesting year.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
already happening.
It's already happening.
Already happening. And in parts of the world it's been happening. So
Yeah. So we have to say it's there to be different. Just expect the great awakening because it's happening in everybody. And even if people that are already awakened, still they're gonna awake. It's not just for few people. It's like the whole world is gonna get into this awakened place. And can you imagine a whole world like people really being great awake? But that's okay. That's a conversation for another one. But then for our next energy of the week. So thank you so much, Songbird. It was amazing. I really, really love us doing this together. And I'm getting, people love it too. So we're going to continue doing it. So if you do have some comments, please share it with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
thank you.